Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are all doing well and have adjusted with your time change. Again, Arizona doesn't change time, so I'm here at the same time, 1:30 Mountain Standard Time. East Coast should be about 3 hours ahead of us, so it's 4:30 East Coast time. And Pacific is the same time as we are now. So you guys are at 1:30 as well. So welcome in. Today I have a cute little tutorial for you today. And thank you to my friend Sarah, who said that I should do something green for St. Patrick's Day today. So I actually whipped up a cute little placemat to stitch with you, to show you how to stitch. And let me show you here. I'm calling it Smilin Shamrocks, and I'm going to show you how to stitch that up. So definitely hit that share button. It's a free pattern to you, and I'm going to put the link above my head when the video is over so that you have this little, you can create as many placemats as you want. But isn't that super cute? So for those of you who are Irish, I am not Irish, but yes, I still love a good shamrock pattern, and it's so super cute. So I can't wait to show you that. You're going to get, when I give you the link, you'll get obviously the photo, and you get the cutting instructions, and this one is paper piece, so you get the foundation as well. So hit that share button, and let's show you how this is done and constructed. So I'm going to start now. First, I want to tell you a little bit about setting up your sewing machine. As per usual, I use Aurifil 50 weight thread to sew. I put a Microtex 7010 needle in. I drop my stitch length down to a 1.5 when I'm paper piecing. So make sure you do that. And I do have a single hole throat plate in my sewing machine because I'm only going to be sewing that straight line. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera down so you can see what you need, and then I'm going to give you a quick run as to what we are doing. Okay, so the pattern comes with, you're going to get the foundation sheet. So this is the stem, okay, and then you have the leaves, the they're all really the same exact pattern, but I chose 3 different colors. As you can see, I chose 3 different greens for the petals on the clover, if you will. And I chose a separate color for the stem. So you need the 3. So basically, let me go over what you need. You're going to be able to print this off, by the way, the PDF. So you'll be able to print this off. For the shamrocks, you need the 3 different fabrics, 3 different greens. And they're cut because you're making 2 shamrocks, you need to cut 2 squares, 2 4-inch squares of each color, okay? Then for the white background, for the background on the petals, which you also can see here, so the white background here in the little corners, you will need to cut 9 2.5-inch squares, and then you're going to cut them on the half diagonally to get all these little squares. All right, that's just for the shamrock petals. Okay, then for the stem, you need to cut the green fabric. You're going to cut 2 1.5-inch by 5.5-inch strips. So I've done the calculations for you, so you're going to have extra fabric so that it covers the area it needs to cover. Then you're also going to need to cut 2 4.5 by 4.5-inch squares, and you're going to subcut that also on the diagonal so that now your squares are triangles. So you've cut 2 of those, okay? So that's what you need to build your blocks. So that will make 2 of the blocks. Then you will also need fabric for your sashing. So your background sashing is going to be 3 7-inch by 1 1/4-inch strips. That's your sashing. Then the inner border top and bottom is going to be 2 15 3/4 by 1 1/4 inch strips. Then your outside border is going to be 2 8 1/2 by 1 1/2 inch strips and 2 17 5/8 by 2 1/4 inch strips. So that's your outside border. Okay, so I'm going to take you real quickly through the paper piecing process on this, and I'm going to demo on this stem. The process is exactly the same for the petals. So this one's just a super simple unit to do. So if you could do it on this, you can certainly do it on this. It's just different shapes, okay? So let me grab here's my foundation. So I've already made one because I'm going to show you how to trim that up afterwards. So what I do, so you'll see how it's numbered on here. It's numbered D1, D2, D3. So you always go, when you're paper piecing, you're always going to go from 1 to 2 to 3, okay? You're always going in numeric order. So what I want to do is I want to put that first triangle on that background, or on the first section. So what I do is I take, and I have these available on my website, by the way. I use this repositionable Elmer's glue. It is repositionable and washable, right? We need to make sure that you're going to just put some of that on there, and you're going to adhere the triangle right to that piece of paper. Okay, so now that's on there, so you can see how I placed it. Okay, so it's placed right over top of that section. Okay, so it covers that entire section. I've made these, I've done the math for you, made them large enough so that it fits, okay, and you have lots of extra. Then you're going to take a piece of template plastic and you are going to fold on that very first line. You're going to take and add a 1/4 ruler. It has a little lip here so that it actually hangs onto that template plastic, and you're going to go ahead and trim. Okay, so you have a little bit of waste, not a lot. You're going to take that off, and then you're going to add that stem piece. You've created a 1/4 inch seam, so you're going to add it right sides together, just like so. And this piece is so big that it covers from end to end. Okay, so if I show you this way, see how that covers, and it covers this way and it covers this way. I can see it past those edges. Now I don't want it to move while I'm sewing, so I'm going to lift up that background fabric, and I'm using my fabric glue pen. It is not wet. I never use wet glue on this because wet glue is just a mess. So this becomes your new favorite sewing tool. For those of you who have taken classes with me, you'll understand and get why you do it. Now, that's all set and ready to go. Those pieces are together, okay? Now, when I made this, I chain pieced, so I actually did both stems at the same time. So I added my first piece, then I trimmed both down, and then I added the second piece, and then I sewed the second piece. So I'm going to turn you towards my sewing machine so you can see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to sew on that line that I folded on. And I'm sewing at that 1.5 inch stitch length, and I start off the line and I go all the way through to the end of the line. So I'm actually going to go off the block. Then I'm going to go ahead and trim that. Okay. Then the next step here, and I'm not going to walk over to my ironing board, but the next step is to give this a press. So you're going to give this a nice good press, okay? And I like to do it with an ironing board, or an iron and an ironing board, but you want to give it a nice press so that's nice and open. So I'm going to swing you back around so you can see the next step, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and turn that back over to the side where the paper is, and I'm going to fold on that very next line. Folding and trimming. Again, I want to create that 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now I'm going to take that next piece that next triangle, and I'm going to line up those seam allowances, and I'm going to make sure that this section 3 falls inside of that triangle. So I need just it needs to be almost just right in the middle of there, so that that white is kind of off the edge here, because this is the section that's covering that section that's folded over. I'm going to take my fabric glue pen again, and I'm going to go ahead and hold that section 2 fabric up and put some fabric glue in there, press it down into the seam. So now that's ready to go to the sewing machine. We're going to bring it back over to the sewing machine so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to sew on that second line. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Then what I want to do is I want to trim. I see that somebody's saying that they pin instead of gluing. The pinning, unfortunately, the reason why I don't pin is because pinning can actually, depending on where you pin too, it can actually make that swivel either way. So when you glue, it stays in place all the way down the line, which is what I like about it. And then the pins don't get in the way when you have it under the needle. The pins don't get in the way. The fabric glue actually is really good because it prevents it from twisting around and possibly flapping under. So sometimes the piece here flaps under, and you could catch it, and that's why I don't pin. And that's just one less thing you have to worry about. So now once you're here to this stage, now you've got to trim these down, okay? So what I do is you're going to go ahead, and you can take any straight edge really, and you're going to trim on that outside. On this particular pattern, it's a dotted line. You're going to trim on that outside dotted line to square these up. And you get this cute little finished block, which I like a lot. Okay, so now your block is all nice and trimmed up, and all you have to do is take the paper off. And the reason why we have that 1.5 inch or 1.5 stitch length is so that the paper tears away easy. And I am using Carol Doak's newsprint, which I actually also sell on my website. You can get that on the website. But see how quickly it peels away, and that repositionable glue, you can see it. There's no paper or residue from the glue because it's a repositionable glue. There's nothing there. So it's so much nicer than pinning because everything lays flat. That's the back side. That's the front side. Now, so like I said, I'm not going to go through and show you how to do this. It is the same exact process. Basically, you're going to glue down the square first, okay? And then you're going to fold back. And again, remember I said everything is in numeric order. You're just going to follow the numbers on there. I'm sorry, I keep pushing it off to the side. You're going to follow the numbers in the order by adding the background triangles to that, okay? So that's super simple. Once you get these all done, you get them all paper pieced, take the backing off, and then in the block, so what you have in the block is you have this little, if you will, tiny quilt, because it's a block. You're going to join two of the petals together, and you're going to join a petal and a stem together, okay? And then you're going to press one in one direction, the seam in one direction, and this seam in the other, so it nests. Then you're going to join the rows together, okay? Now what I did, I'm going to show you the back. When I pressed my rows together, when I did the rows together, I did press the seam open, but you can see one seam is pressed this way, one seam is pressed this way. So when I did the rows, these nested here, and then I pressed this seam open just so it lays nice and flat. And I do like to give it a little press of, a little mist of Mary Ellen's Best Press. Once you've done that, you're going to add your 3 pieces of sashing, and then your inner border, and then you're going to go ahead and add your outer border, the sides, and then your top and bottom borders. And I press those to the borders because there's no seams. So I press those seams to the outside border. And that is basically how you make that placemat. So let me bring you back up towards me. I hope you like that. I am going to put the link so you can download everything to make these cute little placemats. For St. Patrick's Day, you'll have lots of time. This took me a couple hours to make one. That's it. But you can chain piece, so you can probably make 6 all at one time. You could probably do it in a quick weekend. Back it, put batting, make your quilt sandwich, and then you have a great little St. Patrick's Day placemat. You could do a table runner. Wouldn't that be cute? So any of that would be fabulous. If you are Irish, you'll have a little luck of the Irish this time, so this year, and the timing is great. I'm not going to be here next week. I will be in Kansas teaching, so I figured I'd do this for you today. And again, thank you to my friend Sarah who gave me the idea. I whipped up the pattern. Again, for those of you who are joining me late, I will have what you need. It's a PDF, and you'll be able to download it. Okay, I'll put the link above me. You'll get the cutting, and you will get the paper foundation that you can print off. So you will have that, so you can make these today if you like. And you really don't need a lot of fabric either. It's really just scraps that I pulled. So, and if you need more paper piecing instruction and really want to know how to do the organization part of it, you can always sign up for my online class. It's still available, and you can do it. It's affordable with the payment plan. I'll put the link to that up there above my head again. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I won't see you next week. I will be back the following week though. So I want to wish you a happy St. Patrick's Day and some happy quilting. If you make the placemats, please post them and tag me in the post, because I would love to see what you make. I would love to see the fabrics that you pick. So anyway, enjoy, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.